This is day 987 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor a coming share bar of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please find me directly. Be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing the Siman Tov Reish Ayin Gimel, see base through test. Base. Isim Rab Sil Sushmanim Shomar Kalchoy Emalim Bem Shabbos Malim Bem B'Chanukah. The wicks and oil which you cannot use on Shabbos, you can still use on Chanukah. Come on Shabbos, Yesh Pil She'Emalim Bem. On Shabbos, there are certain wicks we don't use the light in nation or Masach Seres Bem because the light flickers on them. Shmanim Osam Sheinim Shachim Ragab Psila, and there are also oils which are not drawn after the wick. Chanukah Chashashka. It's not a problem. Shabbos have a Tam Isser. Shabbos reason can't use is mita these materials, the mitoshe del yafe, which is not going to burn well. Because it's hard to make usage with such a light. We're afraid he might incline the wick or work with the wick, tamper with it. You can't fix it in order to burn properly. Of course, that's Chilul Shabbos. But Chanukah, you're not allowed to use it anyway. Why are you going to start fooling around with it? It must make it burns nicely or not. But that would mean that on Shabbos Hanukkah that should be a problem because then perhaps you're going to fix it. No, that's what he means. Actually, it's not a problem. It says I feel Shabbos to Hanukkah without the Neros Hanukkah. Even on Shabbos Hanukkah, you're allowed to use these oils and wicks for Neros Hanukkah. Even on Shabbos, for Shabbos candles, there's an additional issue, which is if it's not burning well, maybe you're going to extinguish it and come to light it again. That's not a problem here either. We hold Ner Chanukah goes out during the time, the allocated time. You don't have to relight it. You don't have to light it again. Therefore, even on Shabbos, there will be no issue according to strict letter of law. However, on Shabbos, that's the case. I don't think anybody's macking on this, but that's a super chumrah. I guess no. Only if you're using one of the forbidden oils. One of the oils you're forbidden to use on Shabbos. Not if you're using regular olive oil. I was about to say that it was not. I have to say it was not relevant. So it says, now Shabbos said, be careful of using one of these problematic oils or wicks, only to put in enough oil for the amount of time it's supposed to burn. Because after that time is over, we've seen that you're allowed to use the light. And then we should be afraid, in this case, using the inferior oils and wicks, that you're going to start playing around with the candle. The shamish, which you light by the Chanukah candles, that stands next to the candles, it can't be of these problematic oils or wicks. Why? Because because you can use the shamish light. We're afraid you might come to play around with it. It says, whatever this is what the Magen Avraham means, even though it's not necessarily clear there. Gimel, Yerali, it seems to me, I forgot this is Bistama, Amur, Gemara, Shmani, Basil, Shem, Alim, Ben, Bashaz, Malim, Chanukah. Even though Gemara says, just generically, that oil wicks that you can't use in Shabbos, you can't use in Chanukah. It's not a general principle. There are things which you can't use on Shabbos. You can't use on Chanukah even on a weekday. We don't light on Shabbos with a oil which has a bad odor. Because we're afraid we're going to leave it and go out. Chanukah also, it's obvious that therefore you wouldn't light with this kind of a bad odor oil for the same reason. Because the main publicity of a miracle is watching the candles, and for the bad smell ban, you walk out, it defeats the purpose. Also it says there, you're not allowed to light with something which has a very fragrant oil. Because we're afraid you might come to take oil out of that candle in order to use it for some other purpose. So Shabbos would be a prohibition of mechaber. Pshita chashlosh is it's obvious that this issue also exists yesh gam in Chanukah. Shows this time because you're not allowed to use the oil which is in the candle for some other purpose. Even we say, well, it's not comparable because in Shabbos if you take out oil, it's like you'll come to a capital violation. As opposed to Chanukah where it's an issue of Durabanan at worst. Nevertheless, in Shabbos it's similar as also. And the Gemara says that it's also to light such a candle either on weekday or on Shabbos. Provided the rock a kore psilos the shmanim sheber mamalikin kaim itam sheni yor yofet. So therefore, the must be that when it says all these things are kosher for Chanukah, it's only when the problem is that the light is not a clear or bright light, as opposed to the other psulim in Bameh Malikin. That only really, it seems to me also, the Mutalik Ner Chanukah Ba'ashoshis. You can light Ner Chanukah in a lantern, which of course all those cases that they use in Eretz Yisrael in order to put the Ner Chanukah outside, the glass cases are like a lantern. The Shabbat in Bikriya, it's called seeing them. The Erva Ba'ashoshis, Asuli Kos Kriya Shema Kenegda. It says that you have something which is an erva, something which you not be seeing inside behind a glass, a lantern. It's also Richma. Because the prohibition of there should not be seen among you a matter of erva applies. So seeing something through a lantern or a lens, I guess would be a similar idea. We'll call it the Re'iyah. And we kind of Ner Chanukah they would apply as well. Ches. Ladlik Ner Chanukah with Dvarim Shel Yisur Yanoah. Light Chanukah candles with things from which is forbidden to derive benefit. Like oil from orla fruit. Or with butter which is cooked together with meat fat. Which is basar b'chala, but also by Noah. Mutter, it's okay. Came to Osishtan Shabbat says you're not allowed to use the candles. But ain't mitzvah. It's only the purpose of mitzvah. Kaimelon are, we hold, the mitzvahs lavanas. The mitzvahs are not given as a matter of pleasure or benefit. And the Ber Heitem name Moshe Ephraim says this. Those who argue on this. Mishnah Berurah Paskins, like the opinion which argues, which is the Shari, brought down Shari Tshuva. Mitam came in the tzrichim sreifa or kvura, because since something which is also by no, it's supposed to be either burnt or buried, you do the mechtat shurei, the nerchan, it's as if it doesn't have a measure. It's as if its measure is destroyed. Measurement. The ner Chanukah tzurashira, there's a specific measure or measurement for ner Chanukah, which you won't have. But okay. Arukh HaShulchan says no, that's not no. The Kvar Kosel test of Erevin. Kituti mechad ein la b'davar shel tzorev gush echad. Kituti mechad is only by something which requires a specific solid block. B'davar shel idei dibukim kosher, but something which can be kosher by putting little pieces together. Kamo lechi, like the lechi shel shera, eruv lechi made out of forbidden wood. Lo shayla say kituti mechad. Kituti mechad doesn't apply because it's pulverized, but since you could theoretically stick together the pulverized pieces, so therefore it's okay. It's only true about oil, where there's no solid aspect to it whatsoever. Those who say, okay, it's nevertheless, it's understandable because the other pshatim is kosher, and famous of Chaim on it, which I'm not going to get into right now. So therefore, I can understand why the Mishnah is machmir, although Savin Rabbanon Lichor goes to Kula. Vav, for his part, Ikar mitzvah shemen zayis. We already explained the main mitzvah is to use olive oil. Chemish bala basis, so somebody comes home, below to shemen zayis. Doesn't find olive oil, lachan ne'er Shavuot ne'er Chanukah, and he took wax candles for Chanukah candles. The deep gum and he glued them to the wall. B'schil barach and started making the bracha. Tolchach abilo shemen zayis, and while he's making the bracha, they burned olive oil. Avshalu Amar Adayin Hashem, even though he didn't say Shem Hashem, El Baruch Atah, he said just Baruch Atah, Yigmor Aleim, finish with the candles. L'eshchem L'kav Hashem Zayis, don't toss them aside, take olive oil. Kizel Bizoyan L'aneo Sheshava, This is degrading to the wax candles. They've been sanctified by the beginning of the bracha bestowed upon them. Therefore, you should not degrade them because of the hitter mitzvah. But before you start the bracha, leave aside the wax candles, the yadlik, and light with shem and zayis. Just by preparing them, that doesn't make them holy. So they hate to name the chacham tzvi. Those who say the gam once you're ready, glue them to the wall, which we don't do with our wax candles, but maybe that's what they did back then. And you didn't make the start bracha. You should not forsake them in order to use olive oil. That is the name of the Shvus Yankov. No, he rejects that opinion. Okay, I'm not sure why. He says Pashu should not use half wax and half olive oil on the same night. Looks like two separate things. This looks like two separate menorahs. As the Shita, the Teres came in Maram of Prague, they can't make a bracha on a wax candle because it's like a torch. The Ezabuk was I have no idea what it's talking about. In Lokshashnai Kulim Yaakov was not seen in Tov Reish Ayin Av, unless it's talking about where you have two wicks which are wound together. Zion, finally, his words will become where he clarified also Shtamas Ner Chanukah. Not allowed to do things in front of Ner Chanukah which use the light. Then Ikar and Ner Achashi Ikar Chiyuv, whether it's the primary first candle, or the other candles which are there for Mahadra. Because it's degrading to the mitzvah. It looks like it's not significant for you. When you do the different things in front of it. So therefore even a light task is also in front of it. To check the denomination of coins by its light. Only as most of vanilla to count coins in front as also. Some say some people say that it's only a usage which has to be done right adjacent to the candle, such as when you have to check out or count money. But a light usage which is done from afar, it's mutter. It's from the Beis Yosef and Moshe. There are those who ask even in that manner, and Mishabur Pasmas al-Chumrah. So how it be in Biza Mitzvah, it is found as to degrade the mitzvah. That's the Bach and the Taz, and we have Ram named Rashal. The minhag speaks for stringent. I feel lechol mirachok also. Even to eat by the light of kind of candles at a distance is also. So then in the double side, you have enough from sitting in the proximity of the Hanukkah candles. Sheesh or bayis. There's light in the house. You're not going to stumble when you walk. That is an automatic hana. Rambam was just indirect. That's our problem. As opposed to deliberately make use of them, or do some activity in front of them, whatever the usage is, that's no good. The shamash it's okay, as we shall see. Some say the Tashish mitzvah mutter ishtavish in Neros Chanukah. Some say that a mitzvah usage is permitted in front of Chanukah candles. Such as learn from them. Came in that time machine biza mitzvah because since the issue is degradation of mitzvah, is a bizayin el covenant. It's not a degradation; it's an honor. It's an iter brought in the Torah. Ve'en l'shol in kain ekitu la'alik b'shmanim shenim shal rabtzil b'Shabbos shel Chanukah yitam l'osin shtam b'shlo. So then you can't ask. Well, why can't you? He's going to tell us. Don't ask if that's the case. Why? How are they matir for you to light with oils which are not drawn after the wick on Shabbos Chanukah? Because you're not allowed to use the light anyway. Maybe you're going to use it for a mitzvah and play around with the wick. That's my question. Now allowed to learn by the light of a candle. Brak Mishnayim, only the two people. Yes, which will remind each other. Those who say Shamatir, so he allows you to use Hanukkah candles for the purpose of mitzvah, and Matir Derech HaRai. when he allows it on occasion, not deliberate. Not deliberately that way. That is the Taz. The Biur Halacha seems to hold that even derech keva it's okay. Udvarim Turim, the Mayim B'Tur, and Arukh HaShulchan also says it's astonishing to say that it doesn't fit with the Tur. Nevertheless, those who say there's no distinction between mundane or holy usage, and therefore it should be machmir. Any usage of it, ein lo heker, should say Chanukah. If any way time you use the candles, some other purpose, it's not nikah for the purpose of Chanukah. So that's Rava Poskim, it's the opinion of most of the Poskim. That's the widespread custom. The law says when it's a tashmish kedusha and derech arai, such as learn derech arai, it's possible everybody will not be machmir, but sarchir, it says sarchir, l'maisa, and nobody's made as far as I know. Test, kasa tur. Tur writes in nay, she'asu ishtamish l'ora, because you're not allowed to use the candle, but even there echad, we add another one candle. She mishtamish l'ora, if you use the light, ishtamish also in there, you're going to use that candle. That last should not be a purpose in their Chanukah. The ain shem shamish olav. It doesn't have the name of shamish though, because shamish because the shamish is what you use to light the other candles. I can't show. Vosi Rabbeinu says if avlamar the anichena mirachok tzas mishar and there's mitzvah, but a little distance from the other candles which are part of the mitzvah. Can't show. Lo can rei makakol hither shemahan mehadrin. Because you put it right next to it or right in the same level, it ruins the Mahidr, Mahajim and Hadrin. Then I add a date to the cheshbon of how many days past the Chanukah. I'm a demon to Lamash Makem, but the doesn't sound way. Because of Shishalu, Me'echad Rabbeinu Chil asked his brother Rabbeinu Chil, Shemavlikin Echad Yoser Bestam Lo B'Yish Esamehem. When you if you light one extra, but he didn't say which one's the extra one. Later, designate retroactively which one's the extra one. The Shamash Harishon for the first one. Ezman Shiriyot the Shamash Harishon the first one. So the middle one or Achron. Last one. They should not seek when there was Chanukah. Hilchaki Achron. It should not be have an interruption. Chanukah candles. That's why it should be the last one. Besides, I should try Chanichom Merachal. If you have to put it at a distance, Mazu Shelo. What's the question? Rekvar Bira is Mishiniyot Rochok. You already put the one which is at a distance. There must be in the same row. Because if that's the case, you can't carry a calculator, you're ruining the mitzvah. If someone can say the came okay, since the minhag is like that, everybody knows there's an extra one. You mail the minyan yummy you're doing gankid, so everybody knows, deduct one from the total, and they know what day it is. Brackets brings down the first it's not so important, don't speak about this, but we are not finished with this because tomorrow we'll see the Ramah and further than that, the minhag, as the Arukh HaShulchan puts it.